An Indian court has rejected opposition leader Rahul Gandhi's appeal to suspend his conviction in a criminal defamation case. The politician had hoped to challenge his 2-year jail sentence and subsequent disqualification from Parliament. Mr. Gandhi remains out on bail as he tries to exhaust all legal appeals. The Congress leader was charged last month for allegedly making derogatory remarks about Prime Minister Narendra Modi's surname during an election rally in 2019. Now, critics say that his conviction is politically motivated. Neha Punya tells us more from New Delhi. Hello, Neha. Mr. Gandhi is still out on bail, but what's next for him, and how likely is it that he's actually going to serve this jail time?
Well, life doesn't change much for Rahul Gandhi, at least not right away. He still remains a member of parliament who's been disqualified from his seat. He still has that defamation conviction hanging over his head with the maximum jail term that could be possibly awarded of 2 years. He will be out on bail, but he's not going to jail anytime soon. Not at least until he's exhausted all the legal avenues available to him. This Congress party says they will now approach the Gujarat High Court, and they say they'll do this very soon without specifying when they plan to do so. A touch defensive there because many critics said that the Congress sat too long and didn't file the current appeal that he lost today right off the bat, and they took too long to approach the Sessions Court with that appeal. Now, the Congress is claiming that today's judgment was a legal error and an unsustainable judgment is how they've put it, and they say they have confidence that a superior court with the powers of judicial review will grant Mr. Gandhi the victory that he's owed. Their contention is that in the past, we've seen members of parliament who've even faced charges of murder have had their convictions stayed for much more serious offences. But in this case, they allege it's not being done because the person at the other end defending himself is Mr. Gandhi. But of course, the judge in this case was not so sympathetic. He said that Mr. Gandhi should have chosen his words wisely before he spoke.
Now, Mr. Gandhi's sentence has been a huge setback for the Congress party ahead of national elections that are set to take place next year. But is this the end of the road for Mr. Gandhi's political career? And you mentioned that he may have other legal options. I mean, what might those options be that could potentially overturn this conviction?
Well, from here they'll go to the Gujarat High Court, which they're saying they're confident will grant them the stay on the conviction that they want. But if the Gujarat High Court also junks Mr. Gandhi's appeal, he also has the option of approaching the Supreme Court. So he hasn't run out of all options just yet. This is, of course, a huge setback for Mr. Gandhi, primarily because if his party doesn't win that stay on conviction, and we don't just want a suspension, the Congress party says they want a stay. That's the only way that his revocation of his Member of Parliament status can take place. If that stay doesn't come through, Don, he will not be allowed to contest elections next year, and he will also be barred from contesting elections for the next 8 years. Now, many are talking about the possibility of his sister, Priyanka Gandhi, then stepping into his shoes, but it's important to remember that Rahul Gandhi has just led a very successful pan-India march against the Modi government. Thousands of people met up to greet him, to lend their support to this march, and he is being seen as the main contender to Mr. Modi, who will certainly seek re-election next year in the general polls that take place. And the Congress party alleges this defamation verdict and his appeals being junked are a way to keep him out of that race.
Neha, thank you for that. Neha Punya there reporting live for us from New Delhi.